With over 33 years in the mobile bartending and service industry, he is the guy who brings the party and the joy wherever he goes.
She's a seasoned event planner and producer with more than 20 years of experience in sports, corporate, nonprofit, and private events, and she's here to keep things running smoothly.
Together, we are hot mics, cold drinks, and untold disasters of the wild, hilarious, and unforgettable moments in the world of events. This is the EventTalk Podcast with Dave and Rachel. Hi, everybody. Thanks so much for joining today. We are the EventTalk Podcast, hot mics, cold drinks, and untold disasters. We have a very special guest. Part of the reason I am in events today is because of this phenomenal woman that I met at 19 years old. So we're going to bring her on now. It's Jill Hall. She was definitely a mentor of mine growing up, and I mean, still is, because I still do some stuff with you. But she worked for the U of A athletic department when I started there at 19 years old and focused a lot in the special events at the Hall of Champions. And so Jill taught me everything I know about tables and chairs and linens and custodial and all the kind of basics. Welcome to the EventTalk Podcast, Jill.
Well, thanks, Rach. That was a very nice introduction, and I can't believe it's been 19 years. Oh, my goodness.
I know, right? So crazy. Yeah. And then we have obviously Dave. Dave, meet Jill. Jill, meet Dave.
Hi, Dave.
Hello. They're actually going to work together here fairly soon in bar and events that are coming up to Scottsdale for U of A, right?
Exactly. Hopefully lots of Wildcats.
Yes, hopefully. And you are still with the U of A, but have moved over to the Alumni Association for the College of Behavioral Science. Woohoo, that's where I graduated from.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's crazy that we're still talking this far, into our careers, and hopefully you soon to retire, because you've been doing this a while. And I know your counterpart when I started at U of A, Phoebe Chalk, was there as well. And she has since retired, but she never sits and does nothing. So she's moved on to kind of a post-career career. But anyways. And so obviously we're here to talk about kind of behind the scenes stuff that happens. And I know a lot of your stuff is with U of A, but you also attend a lot of events. You travel and attend a lot of events. So it doesn't necessarily have to be U of A based, but behind the scenes kind of untold disasters in this event space, basically things that people just don't really hear about. That's what we talk about on this show. So we're super excited to have you here.
Well, super fun. And I was lucky enough to hear your first podcast. So
yay.
I got the gist. So it was good. It was very good.
Good. I know my mother, I talked to her yesterday. We went out to lunch and I was like, "What'd you think, Mom?" She's like, "Well, you're a little mean to Dave sometimes."
Yeah, see?
And I'm like,
hit the button.
He's good.
I get yelled at a lot.
So, yeah, anyways. So when did you start in the world of events? I mean, I met you when I was 19, but obviously you were in it before. And was it with U of A?
Right. So it's actually funny. I started doing events for middle schoolers. I was the advisor for the student council over in California. And you did all those little fun, 8th grade dances and graduation. So when I applied to come to the U of A, I was coming for grad school. I just said, hey, this is my background. And they had asked, have you done any events? And I had done some golf tournaments and some of that stuff. So really, U of A was kind of the start, working with the foundation and doing some fundraising events. But then was lucky enough to move over to work with Phoebe in all the special events for the athletics department. So
that's right.
Yeah, really kind of you kind of got us at the beginning, Rach.
Really?
So, yeah.
I felt like you guys were so experienced and just knew everything.
No, lots of mistakes.
Makes a good planner. See, that makes a good planner.
Exactly.
Making you believe that she knows exactly what she's doing.
Yeah, fake it till you make it.
Right.
Well, and you guys did not only events in the Hall of Champions. So the Hall of Champions, if you haven't been to U of A, is like a mezzanine. They have a mezzanine to hold events, but it's also like a museum. And while I was there, it was like 3 years working on the project of every single athlete and where they went in their pro career that graduated from U of A. So that was a big project I did there, but then obviously did a lot of stuff with you. We had tailgate things that we did. I remember everyone's like, "Rachel, why don't you drink in college?" It's because I had to wake up at 6 a.m. to go onto the football field and move beer for tailgates. I was very busy doing that. And then we did, which one of them's coming up, and one of my friends, Channing Frye, is being inducted into the Arizona Hall of Fame, which is really cool. And you guys did a lot with that as well?
Correct.
Yeah.
We did that. We would do anything that was special. So we did halftime presentations. We do welcome home ceremonies for our NC2A champions. probably the event that stood out the most, we hosted Bobby Olson's funeral in McHale. And the Olson family came to us and said, will you do this for us? And we were very, very honored that they put that event in trust for us and did that. So unfortunately, we had a few events. Phoebe and I used to joke that we knew how to do funerals better than we knew how to do banquets at one point. Yeah.
I don't like that.
But, yeah, I know. But luckily that slowed down. So but we did all kinds of things. Anything that touched the athletics department, we would do. So
I remember I used to do helps with like the lunches for Lute Olson. So he'd have like once a month, once a season, quarter, where he met a lot of the alumni group at what was the restaurant in Tucson?
It was Sullivan's.
Sullivan's, that's right. Sullivan. High end. It's kind of like Dominic's kind of steakhouse, and it was always
not as good as Dominic's, but
but always like a lunch to meet Lute, and he was so gracious and meeting everybody. That whole family is phenomenal. Everybody involved. So, and then now we have Julie Hairgrove, who's the coach now for. Is she the coach or an assistant coach for women's basketball?
She's one of our assistants. She's one of our
assistants. She was with Mercury, so it's crazy how. In college, so many people years later, you still talk to or somehow come back around.
They always come back around.
Which is kind of crazy. So,
Cool.
Well, do you have any kind of like fun stories that not many people know about?
Yeah, we always have fun stories. You guys touched on it briefly with the first podcast, and I don't know if you've gotten to it in any of your other ones, but weather in Arizona is always one that creates havoc. The very, very, very first event I did actually was a memorial service for one of our baseball players, and we were going to do it out on the baseball field, and it was August, and probably about 20 minutes before we were supposed to go, the monsoon came rolling in, and and we've got, when we were watching weather and everything, and you just, that's where I learned you gotta always have a backup.
For sure.
Even if the venue doesn't, I always ask for a backup if I plan an outdoor event, saying just in case, can you block something for us to move into? And they always are very nice and do, which is nice. But inevitably, I think at least once a year I have a weather thing still happen to this day, because Arizona is so beautiful in the fall. That
not so much in August all the time.
Yeah.
It's so warm in August.
No. You want to do it outside? But yeah, that one, the family, they wanted to be outside. They wanted to be on the field. It was beautifully set up, and we turned it and said, all right, everybody pick something up and move inside.
So you had already set the event up, and then it just came, and you're like, oh, so it wasn't like you just set it up in the alternative location.
No.
Think on the fly.
Yeah, exactly. Same thing happened. We were in Colorado for a tailgate. And again, it's fall in Colorado. It's beautiful. What could happen? Everything is set. It's set for 500 people. So, you can imagine tables and chairs and bars and balloons. I've decided balloons are the magnet for bad weather.
It's true. It's true. And you guys have a lot of balloons at your events, red and blue.
Yep. And so we just, it came through. We were opening doors in 5 minutes, and it came through. And we just said, give us 15 minutes. We're going to be right back. And we just moved everything inside super fast. So the weather is always one of those ones that's really tricky.
Yeah. Fun fact, Dave, did you know the original colors of U of A? What they are? Well, what they are now and what they were?
No.
So the colors now are red and navy, or red and blue. Not white. Most people think it's white, but it's red and blue. Right. And correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, but the original colors were hunter green and silver.
Correct.
And they changed in 1899 because it was cheaper to buy red and blue football jerseys than it was to buy green and silver.
Oh, there you go.
Exactly.
So it was a monetary issue.
Yeah. They had just started, and they're like, well, we need a football team, and they bought the jerseys, and it was cheaper. Yeah. So that's why U of A has those colors.
That's why we're red and blue instead of green and silver. Yep.
Yes. And I remember U of A had some fun stories with our active wild bobcats that were technically minks. Were they minks, the actual bobcats?
No, I think they were real bobcats out there at the Arizona Desert Sonora Museum. Yep.
Yeah. And so they were always
the field.
Before Wilbur and Wilma, there were actual bobcats that were the U of A mascot.
Yes,
they brought them on the field, football.
Did they bring them on the field?
They brought him on the field. They did. They had him, and they tied him up, and then unfortunately, I don't think it was during a game, but he did hang himself.
Yeah. Behind the scenes.
So they decided no more. No more live
I heard
mascot.
one was on the back of a float. at a parade or something too.
Yeah.
So that's when they switched to having actual costumes for Wilbur and Wilma. And this is me going down into my U of A history touring. Wilbur and Wilma, the mascots, are actually married. The costumes, not the people, but the costumes.
No. Yes. They have a certificate?
Yes. They do.
They do. We've had a wedding on the field for them, and they've celebrated their anniversary. Oh, yeah.
Did they have little cubs running around? And
Not yet. We've never had cubs.
There was a fan. I remember, I don't know if it was while I was there or soon after, but there was a fan that tried to make like a child, kind of like the baby Wilbur or Wilma or whatever. It never actually happened.
Oh, you can crochet stuff like that now.
No, we've never done it. We've never had the babies.
Never had the babies. Probably a good thing. And it was funny. I remember, kind of funny, one of my friends from the sorority I was in was dating Wilbur at the time. And then one of our other friends had drunkenly kissed Wilbur at one point in our college career. And so we wore shirts to a football game that says, I kissed Wilbur, I'm kissing Wilbur, and I never want to kiss Wilbur. And I was the one who said I never want to kiss Wilbur.
Was he in costume or not in costume?
I mean...
When you kissed him.
I never did. No, not in costume. I never kissed him, but no, it was funny. And actually, they're actually married now, which is kind of funny. Oh. Yeah, they actually ended up getting married.
That's interesting.
So yeah, it's fun little fact. But so outside of tailgates, which I know tailgates itself has fun behind the scenes stuff of. Obviously, there's a lot of alcohol always involved, and U of A is a fun alcohol school. And that
all
ties
colleges
into you.
are fun alcohol schools.
But then you moved tailgates because it used to be on Bear Down Field, and then they moved up to the what do you call the tiled area?
Oh, they moved up to the Hall of Champions, the pavilion.
The pavilion of the Hall of Champions. And those tiles would always break, which was really sad and funny at the same time. And I know another one that's really funny.
She's going back down memory lane.
I seriously am. And this is something when the tiles, there was one. It wasn't even Christmas. It was one winter where it snowed in Tucson. I remember we built these snowmen that were like this big and like it's a crazy, thing. But those tiles became ice because they are hollow underneath, and we had to get cat litter and put cat litter on the tiles.
That melts it?
To melt it, yes.
So people wouldn't slip.
Right.
See,
Michigan, we use salt. Here, you would use cat litter.
Cat litter. I don't know if it was like the salt would have hurt the tiles, or was it just easier to buy cat litter at the time? I think it's probably
easier to buy the cat litter because who has salt for freezing
in Tucson?
Yeah.
The girl with the umbrella.
Yeah, that's what I would have gotten to buy. I don't think that's the right kind.
Yeah. Well, and then there were fun stories, too, with the oldest rivalry trophy in all of college sports is the Territorial Cup. And wasn't there some fun stories with the Territorial Cup with just, like, things that people don't think about of, like, having to move it and you have to wear gloves and then it switches over schools and...
Yep. So, the Territorial Cup, they found it in the basement of God, I don't even know if it was I don't even think it was a library. They didn't know what it was. And luckily, we had somebody on staff that knew what it was and saved it. And it's the oldest rivalry trophy in college football. Wow. And it is kept in a very secure case, and you cannot pick it up without gloves on. Now, we had a replica made, so if you see one on the field with the guys holding it and doing all that BS at the end, that's the fake one. But one year, the game was being played in Tucson, but the cup was up here at ASU. And so I happened to be coming home for Thanksgiving, and they said, Joe, will you go pick up the cup? And I said, yeah, I'll go pick it up, and I'll take, we'll bring it back down to Tucson, no problem. Well, the cup came to the Hall family Thanksgiving dinner, and we are a house divided. And so the fake cup came and sat in the middle, but then everybody got to put the gloves on and take a picture with the real cup. But so it came to our house for dinner. Since then, it's a bigger deal to move the cup. The cup comes, I believe, now with whatever team has it, they put it on the bus. Usually, or they'll bring security. They make a big deal about it, like the highway patrol will come drive it back.
Like the Stanley Cup.
Like the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Can you drink out of it? And do the players get to take pictures with it? Do they get each player get it for one day type of thing?
Well, they don't know they get it for one day. They do get to take pictures with the fake. They never see that real one. That real one goes under case wherever it happens to be, and then when it comes out of case, it goes into a box and then it goes somewhere else. Yep.
And then does it get etched with the winner and the
No.
team name or anything?
Plaque.
No,
It's too small.
it's just-
Is it too small?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's too small.
Like, what, about that big?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but like
yeah.
the Stanley Cup keeps getting, right? Because the
Yeah.
teams that
Oh,
win,
yeah.
Oh,
they just keep
exactly.
building to
Yeah.
it.
That would be cool, but no. And
Yeah.
so it's just, it's just one of those things that came up, and we keep doing it, and so it's kind of cool. It's kind
Have
of
they
fun
ever
to have.
lost one?
Well, the funny thing is it was lost. That's when they
Not the
found
original,
it.
say even the
fake one?
The fake one.
You know what? I would imagine, yes, it probably has been lost because again, it kind of wanders around. So I wouldn't doubt it, but it's not inexpensive to reproduce. I mean, it's
I bet.
silver, so it's
Yeah.
still, even though it's not the real, it's still, the replica is still pretty expensive. So they try to keep it within tabs. But like the real one might sit in one of our museums, and then the fake one will sit like in the football offices. So, people know where it's at.
Both on display in a
Yeah.
sense. But
Yeah.
well, and the fun fact is too, my friend who wore the I've kissed Wilbur, not I'm kissing Wilbur, but I kissed her grandfather is the one who found that trophy.
Oh, really?
I don't know if you knew that. Yeah.
Wow.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow, we're
I didn't
going
either
way
for the
back.
longest time. So I know. Long
Very
time ago. But yeah, no, that's kind of some fun stuff too. I mean, obviously, if you go to U of A, you might know some of this history, but I think working for athletics, especially the sports world, like there's so much history that I learned doing the tours, and it's a very historic school. And the one, I'm probably going to say it wrong, but there's an ongoing joke, or I used to say it, that when the state was formed, there were 3 things that had to be determined in Arizona, and it was the hospital, the college, and the Capitol. And at the time,
Prison college capital.
prison, college, capital. So not the hospital, the prison.
Yeah.
Okay. And so at the time, the Capitol was in Flagstaff.
Mm-hmm.
The school went to Tucson,
Mm-hmm.
and the prison that I joked that it was a hospital, otherwise known the insane asylum, was ASU.
Oh,
I like that story better, Rach.
Dun-dun-dun.
We'll leave it there. We'll leave that one. I like that one better.
you're going to get some comments. I have a
Oh,
feeling
I'm
that
sure we will. That's just a
Yeah.
fun story. I'm sure ASU has a lot of our,
Yeah.
go to Tucson. It's
We bartend a lot at ASU.
You do. You guys do. I actually helped with one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't
We
go
do a
on
lot for U of A too, but
ASU's campus much. But
it's interesting.
it's very funny. ASU's campus reminds me a lot of U of A in certain parts of it because they have the red brick buildings,
Sure.
which I think is very unique to Arizona in general, whether it's came from the ground or just whatever, but a lot of brick
Yeah.
buildings.
I lived in Tucson, what, 90, I think, 1991.
I was not there then.
It
Actually,
was-
I probably
It was
was.
a long time ago.
I have
That's
family
cool.
down there. So we used to go down for every Christmas.
Yeah, we had a
to Tucson.
blueprinting company down there.
Really?
Before
Yeah, yeah.
Four Monsters?
What's the place that did the burritos or tacos? It was, God, it was, everybody went there as kids, but it was right off, it was north of the campus. River Parkway, is that a street?
Rivers of
River
Street.
is.
Yeah,
River is.
and then the mall was right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we lived in an apartment complex right there.
Okay. And there was a burrito place. that
There was
you
a
went to?
burrito place there that, right next to our place, so I would trade out copies for burritos
Oh.
back then because we owned a blueprinting company. So they'd come over for that and then.
This is before Poor Masters.
This was, and then when I came back, I started Poor Masters. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they were
That is
doing
interesting.
great up here. It was when the economy just tanked, like 91,
Yeah.
92, right in that area. So blueprinting company, nobody was doing any blueprints. So,
Sure.
anyways,
Blueprints. Okay. There you go.
so there's a story.
A blueprint story.
Blueprint story.
I had to think of what a blueprint was for a while. If you're not in that world, I'm like,
Yeah,
is
I
that the
know.
carbon copy? Like I literally, when you were
Yeah.
saying it, thought it was like the carbon copies at the time, but it's not.
It's so different now. They used to run it through an ammonia machine to make the blueprints.
Oh, wow.
So literally the paper. It's really interesting. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Now,
So,
yeah,
good
who knows?
Good stories about campus life, or did anybody disappear? Or
Disappear.
I don't know.
Jeez.
Ever have a speaker not show up? Or
We
Speaker-
probably
come
have.
on,
I
everyone
think,
jokes that Tucson's the old mob hangout, right?
yes,
Really?
Yes.
That's where they go to retire. Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's-
I always thought it was somewhere in Wisconsin in the Dells.
No, when I lived there, the big thing was that all the mob retired in Tucson.
Oh my God.
They
Did you
are.
ever hear that, Jill?
Oh yeah, I know that.
Oh.
In fact,
Never
at
heard that
Tucson,
one.
at Tucson Omni National, the big golf course, there's a house that sits over one of the holes, and that was one of the mob bosses' homes.
See?
Wow.
And they went from New York to Tucson.
There you go.
Yep, because no one would fight.
Stopped at Wisconsin along the way for a little
Yeah.
Just for
holiday.
cheese.
It's
Cheese
too
and
hot.
beer.
It's too hot to find them.
Oh my gosh, I never knew that. That's funny. Well, there's stories of U of A. I don't know how many of them are true, but yeah.
Any ghosts? Any good stories?
Oh, lots of ghosts.
Lots of
Old Main, right?
Old Main, Maricopa Hall, where I lived. I never saw it. Bear Down. Yes,
Bear Down,
ghosts.
the original basketball court.
They used to do a tour at Halloween, a ghost story tour through the campus of U of A. So it started Old Main, and then they would tell the ghost stories and the different people. So yeah, I've never seen one. So, I've been in the buildings late at night and haven't never seen.
You never felt the presence? Nothing.
Nah.
I even lived in Coronado, which is one of the older dorms, and nothing there.
Nothing. Yeah.
So any good stories about an event that nobody knows? Everybody thought it was the greatest event you've ever thrown, Jill, but behind the scenes, chaos ensued.
Oh yes. We had one of our basketball lunches where we used to, before the season would start, we'd invite the community to come, and you got to sit with a basketball player, and that's when we did, well, maybe people still do, you're seating by hand. And so if somebody cancels or, oh no, I want to sit with Susie, I don't want to sit with Joe, and then you'd have to move and you'd have to do the players, and it was a production. So the night before, and again, one of my very first events, the night before, we decided we would all go to Sakura, which is the Teppan place, but we decided just to go to the bar, and that sake bombs would be a really good way to forget how nervous I was about putting on this event. So a few sake bombs, yes, lots of sake bombs. And the event was always held on Veterans Day. So again, the night before school, when you're out of school the next day, the place is jumping. So we did our sake bombs, and I go to work the next day and not feeling particularly healthy. And all of a sudden, one of the assistant coaches' wives, who I did not know was coming, is there with their children, and they want to sit up front. And it's been seated and reserved, and instead of being very gracious and be like, no problem, we'll find here's an open table, she raised hell. And here you have this person screaming at me with a lovely headache. And again, you just kind of smile and like you said, behind the scenes, we're like trying to figure out who to move, where to go, how to get her next to her husband. And again, it's not just her, but they've got two children. So, and they're not adult children at this time, they're little kids. So yeah. So it was, but again, nobody knew.
Right, that's what makes you a professional, right? That the whole thing is at the end, great job, and you're thinking, thank you, and then in the back of your head, you're like, oh my God, I never want to do that again.
Yeah, and it's always interesting going to events, and I'm sure you guys know this, and watching people work and do their thing, and the people that do it for a living do it so beautifully. But when you go somewhere, and I know you work in a lot of private homes, for people that don't do this on the regular, and how much they don't understand what to do, as far as, you might need somebody to come park your cars because you live in a neighborhood where there's no parking. And by the way, your home might not be the best place to do this because you don't have any room. And have you had somebody come in and clean and stock your bathroom full of toilet paper, and just all the things that we think of constantly?
Sound ordinance.
It's always interesting to watch somebody that doesn't do it for a living, that just thinks, I can be a party planner, no problem. Let me do this.
I planned a wedding. You hear it all the time. I planned a wedding. I'm a wedding planner now. Right?
Yes.
Here they are. They got married, so this is easy.
I think when I first started off in events, saying I'm an event planner, I felt like I was like faking it. Like it was just kind of like everybody thinks, like what you just said, like I planned one wedding. Okay, now I'm an official event planner. And I'm like, no, at least I had backings with Jill and like had planned multiple events. And then when I got my first job in events, are like, oh my God, you know all of this stuff. And it's because, Jill taught me. And it was auctions, it was programs. Auctions were always a fun one that we dealt with because it was before technology obviously existed. And we had sheets of paper and, did we do bid paddles? Or was it just write down?
Oh, yeah. No, just write down.
It was just write down on sheets of paper. So it wasn't like a live auction, but silent auctions and having to close those and all of our clipboards and pens. And
the technology now is amazing for events.
Yeah.
I mean, it
really I think when
is.
you learned, I was doing some events for like an auction I guess it was kind of auction company. But you're like, oh my God, this would have been so smart years ago, is making it on technology, not pen and paper.
Now, Jill, when
Exactly.
did you start? What year did you start planning?
I came back to I did my undergrad at U of A and finished in 88, but came back in 19, let's see, we just won the national championship. So 98 was when I came
Okay.
back to Tucson
Yeah.
and haven't left since.
Yeah, because I mean, we started before the internet. We joke about it, right? We're
Yeah.
older than Google. So I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I had a 3x5 card system.
Oh, yeah.
And I forgot to ask somebody for their phone number when I hung up. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
Rolodex.
Yeah.
I know.
How do I get a hold of this? I have no clue. It was before mobile phones. It was before
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah,
I
it
screwed
really
that one
is.
up.
It really is amazing to think how different life is from 40 years ago. You know,
How
or
did we
even 30
do
years
the
ago.
historical part of the museum? Because we had the dungeon that talk about creepy. That was creepy, and
Well,
I
just
didn't.
calling it a dungeon's creepy.
Well, it was the
Yeah.
old racquetball courts that were
Uh-huh.
like underneath the building. And I have been down there once since, totally different than when we we were there. But there were
Yeah.
some funky things. You definitely heard weird noises down there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I was like spooked out like I thought it was ghosts, but it was weird noises sometimes. But how did we keep track of all of the museum stuff? But I mean, I had
Just-
early
just on a
computers,
computer.
but
Yeah, just
just
a
on pen and
computer.
paper.
Pen and paper and computer. And
Books.
that museum wasn't, we started that museum, I mean, the thought came in at probably 98. So it wasn't like we were, I mean, we did it on typewriter. I mean, it's amazing today too. You'll say something about using a typewriter and the students will look at you like, what? So they don't know how to use a typewriter. But a lot of that stuff had to be on typewriter because we could get it into the little baby lines and, you know,
Typewriter.
now you
That's
just
funny.
do Excel or
My
whatever.
son's an aerospace engineer, so he found an old typewriter from my mother, and he stared at it, and we literally had to tell him, you cannot take it apart. He wanted to know how this thing worked. He's hitting it. We're like, no. I actually think he has it. She gave it to him before
Yeah.
she met.
Yeah.
That's how those kids
Just looks at it and wants to take it all apart, figure
are
out
you
how it
kidding me?
works.
He stared at the garage door opener one time, and he was like 6, and we're like, no.
Yeah.
If we see a ladder, you're getting punished.
Yeah.
But
And
that
even,
was
you know,
always
Rachel's
interesting.
generation is so different from even the generation now. I mean,
Yeah.
we have the communications is a department within my college and the PR degree and just the students going through that degree and learning event planning and all that stuff is really, it's fascinating.
Well, and I think that's why I kind of started early on in my career knowing events so well, is because we didn't have technology. We didn't have,
Right.
easy ways to do things, kind
We
of
had
like
lists.
you with bartending. It was just
Right.
like, it's not just like, oh, I can take a class and boom, I'm it. Even though I did take one event planning class, it was the only one
Right.
we had at U of A at the time. But,
Right.
it wasn't, there's a lot that goes into event planning that's not necessarily how to build a portfolio or how to
Right.
build a budget or how, I mean, there is budgeting, but like you just have to do it and figure
Right.
it out along the
Right,
way.
and that's all it is. You learn from your mistakes really
Yeah.
easily. You know, the first time a haboob comes through, you're like, okay, I will figure this out. You know,
And from
don't plan
Tucson,
in
it
August.
comes straight up from Mexico, right? It comes straight from the
Yeah. Yeah.
south. So you get
Yeah.
hit first, and then we get it up here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
and none of us
officially,
have gotten
though,
any. So
we've only, I know, not this year's been horrible. I think we've only had one haboob, maybe two, throughout Arizona's history, though, because they have to be so many miles wide and so many miles high to
be
be an
called a
official
haboob?
haboob.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we
But
had
it's
one
still a
last year
dust
that was
storm.
huge, yeah.
It's still a dust
Yeah.
storm, and
Oh,
dust
yeah.
storms can be massive, but
Yeah. Yeah.
haboobs are not fun. Just call everything.
Yeah.
I think everyone just likes saying the word.
What's the
You're right.
biggest event you've ever done, Jill?
Oh.
Oh, so when I left athletics, I was in charge of homecoming for the University of Arizona.
That's
so
a big event.
those were big events, and that's a lot of coordination, a lot of teamwork, a lot of trust in people knowing that they're going to do their part of each piece of it.
Yeah.
So, those were definitely the fun. Homecoming was fun. It was hard, but it was fun.
Because you have the tailgates, you have the fire the night before, you have
Right, you
pep
have the
rallies,
parades,
you have
yep.
everything that goes on
And
during
then you got to
the
get them into the
game.
stadium safely.
Yes,
You guys
and then,
added
yeah.
parades of like the football players since I've been gone. Like they walk
Yeah.
down the
the street.
street with the band and
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So it's a lot of coordination.
10,000, 20,000? How many go to homecoming?
Well, we always like to say the stadium holds about 65, so we say about 60,000
There
people.
you
are at
go.
homecoming.
That's a big one.
Yeah. Talk about liquor permitting.
Yes.
All you need is one.
The thing is, though, U of A is technically a dry campus.
So is ASU.
Okay.
But the teachers all drink really well, so that's what keeps us in business.
But we have spots that all have licenses. So we have, for homecoming, we do a whole campus license through this city.
Yeah, you get it through. And does your Old Main have a license?
Yeah. Old Main has a license, Student Union has a license, McHale has a license, Arizona Stadium has a license.
McCord has one.
Okay.
Art Museum, Old Main.
All the places to hold events.
Right.
Yeah. Which is actually, it's nice. No, it's nice because, again, we were also afraid to have alcohol on campus oh my God, what are they going to do? It's been fine. I think we've had less problems with alcohol than we did before when we banned it,
Well, it's regulated under the license, for one.
Yeah.
And usually it's brought in because you bring in all these great speakers from out of the country or from out of state, and you have a little cocktail hour, right? Or the president wants to have a little cocktail. Mm-hmm. It's not for the students unless they're in the master's program because, obviously they're over 21.
Right.
True.
Right.
Parents, a lot of parents come down.
Yeah. But I found even serving at Arizona Stadium or at McHale Center during football, there doesn't seem to be the problems there were when the kids were trying to sneak it in. It is now just easy. It's just easy.
Yeah, they're smarter.
Yeah, they are smarter. They're doing other things too, so it's all right.
Yeah. Well, and maybe they need to have our mocktails. Dave and I usually do like a mocktail, cheers kind of thing with in-studio guests, and so they just need the list of all the mocktails.
That's right. That's right. Do a red and blue one, Dave.
There we go. Oh, I like that.
We'll
that's a good challenge.
Maybe for our party, you'll have one.
That's our 30 minutes, Jill. Can you believe it? I know it goes by so fast. It's so crazy, but it was fun going down memory lane with you for sure.
Well, I appreciate you calling, and I wish you all the best of luck with this. It's super fun, and it's a nice space for you all to be in. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for helping me so early on and being a friend and a mentor along the way. So appreciative of you. But
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, it's nice to meet you, and I'll talk to you on the phone coming up soon.
Okay. Yeah. All right. You guys have a good rest of your week.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks, everybody, for joining the Event Talk Podcast. Hot mics, cold drinks, and untold disasters. We will see you next time.
Yay. Oh, do that thing.
Like, subscribe,
like us, buy
thumbs
us,
up, down.
kiss us.
Kiss
do what we're supposed to do. I don't know. Kiss us.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning into the Event Talk Podcast, hot mics, cold drinks, and untold disasters, where every event has a story. A big thank you to our guests for their laughs, stories, and lessons. If you loved this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your fellow event pros. Until next time.